Okay, welcome to MaxSold's expert webinar series. We're going to just wait a minute while our Facebook live audience joins. Okay, so we're about to start here in just a few moments. Just so everybody knows, any questions you have, feel free to submit them into the chat or onto the Facebook thread. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And again, thank you for joining MaxSold's expert webinar series. And we have Shane Weatherby of Weatherham Estate Treasures here with us today. And he is going to be educating us about the world of sports memorabilia and what we might like to know about the billion-dollar industry that nobody talks about. Shane, welcome, and I'm going to hand the reins over to you.
Thanks, Heather. I appreciate it. So this is a good opportunity to share a bit of a passion of mine, as well as being an expert in this field. Obviously, everybody who knows sports collecting, back 10, 20 years ago, it was a thing that obviously a lot of people did with their kids, hockey cards, baseball cards. It's now ballooned into a major business. And I think this year alone, there's $7 billion in transactions. It's obviously started with Panini, some of the bigger, larger card companies obtaining high value cards. And like any business, if you can't get it and they sell out, obviously they produce more. To speak a little bit about some of the cards and how this business has came about. You'll see on the screen, we've got a football card of Trey Lance. This card is what they refer to as a 101. In the new industry now, they make several different parallels of the same card. What a parallel is basically the same card. They'll just have a number to it. So numbered out of 20, numbered out of 10, numbered out of 5. This card here is a 101. If this card is what they refer to as a raw, because a raw is a non-graded card, is worth probably about $25,000. If it became graded and it graded a 10, which is a perfect grade, that card could be worth 150 or more. In this business, the card companies have maximized their potential for producing cards, as far as everything they produce sell out, and they make it limited number. Collectors like the fact that you can get a limited edition card. So when you get a rookie card, let's use the Wayne Gretzky hockey card for an example. If you go on the market, there's thousands of these available. Obviously, the more numerous the production, the less value it's worth. So what the card companies have done is obviously limited production. So they'll make cards like this Trey Lance as a 1 of 1. So there is not another card of this value, which the lower the value, the higher the price. So now they have parallels of 10, parallels of 20, 100. So basically you can collect these cards and you can own the market. So as you own part of the market, obviously you can control pricing. So it's a lot like the stock market. If you have all the shares in that stock, you can set your own price. So if you can move to the next slide. So here's a perfect example of the graded versus non-graded. So as cards come in different parallels, if you have a card that's produced 100 times, obviously there's 100 cards of that same rookie in the market. Now, what differentiates those 100 cards is the grade. So if you send those cards away to a Beckett or a PSA to grade them, you'll end up with different grades depending on how good condition the card is. So anywhere from a 7 up to a 10. Obviously 10 is perfect. If you get a 10, that increases the value of your card, which ends up obviously giving you the lion's share of that market. If it's only a 101, the reason people chase the 101 is you're the only one that owns that card. You set your own market. So it's a newfound hobby where you can basically control a market of a card. If you have all 10, all 20 of that card, now you can basically control the price of it. So let's say a Patrick Mahomes rookie is selling for $1,000 and there's 10 of them. If you own all 10 of them, you can now basically set your own market. So the stock varies on several different avenues as far as players' production, how good they are, how popular they are, that type of thing. But Stacey, if you want to move to the next slide. So again, when you're grading cards, there's different card companies. So right now, as far as me as a collector, if I'm going out and buying raw cards, so raw cards are classified as ungraded cards. So if I'm buying raw cards and I want them graded, I tend to use BGS and PSA. So these are probably the two brands that most people are aware of. There are some other good grading companies. There's SGC, GMA, HGA. There's a new company coming in with some AI called Tag. But again, the industry, is basically PSA and BGS is where your card holds value. So if I have the same card graded in a BGS as a 10, the same card graded with an SGC, the Beckett is going to hold probably twice the value of an SGC grade. So it's important to obviously the better the grading company or the more popular the grading company, which the industry is used to, that's the companies you want to use to grade your cards. What's the purpose of grading a card? The value of a card. If we go back one slide, Stacey, that you'll notice on the right, this is a Patrick Mahomes 1/1 Shield autograph card. This card was graded an 8.5, and it was one of the highest valued card. I believe it sold for 5.4 million in an auction. Just goes to show the level of where the cards have gone to as far as a sure value. This card here was graded 8.5 by Beckett. If this was graded by one of the other lesser companies, you'd probably see that fall to half the value. So it gives you a good idea on which company right now kind of holds the community's respect in grading. And right now it's mostly Beckett and PSA. If you want to continue, Stace. So another avenue to the industry as far as collecting, we've built relationships at G7 Sports with some of the NFL, NBA. We worked with the Boston Celtics. We did this picture here is a Kevin Garnett painting we did for him at his retire ceremony. So what we've done is art is becoming also a big part of the collector world. Obviously bringing up any kind of value to collectors, whether it's cards, whether it's paintings, painting with the Topps project they've done. You'll see a lot of cards now that are basically coming in packs or actually paintings of cards that are being sold. There's many companies out there now that are doing paintings of cards. Topps is one that's jumped into it. I'm sure you'll see many other follow suit. But the art is becoming a pretty predominant figure in the collectible world as well. Before it was kind of just people they collected cards. Now they're collecting the cards of the painting of their cards and that sort of thing. So getting involved in the collecting industry and the memorabilia side for painting can be very lucrative if you can own some of these pieces and get in the network to buy. Right now, we're trying to work with some of the bigger companies for getting this product out there. MaxSold is obviously one of them, which they do a good job with bringing in collections and having it where it's an in-person pickup, which obviously collectors love the community, like to meet each other. It's a very good community. I haven't met a bad person in it. We do a lot of the trade shows, and it's a lot of fun that meeting new people and obviously discussing a passion with them. And when you have a like of passions in sports and collectibles, it makes it a lot funner. If you can move to the next stage. So one thing we've done is if you can look in the world of sports trading, again, I want to get back to the importance of parallels. It's important to understand the different sets of parallels that come out and what they are. So in the parallels with sports cards, you'll get several different, and we'll make it easy. It starts out of edition run. So if you have an edition run out of 100, edition out of 50, the lower the edition, generally the higher the price of the card. Not always the case with true rookies, but that's a little bit more for another time to discuss the intricacies of true rookies versus non true rookies and parallels. The big cards right now that everybody is going after is generally the 1/1 parallels, which is obviously you set the market with this. The 1/5. So I'll give an example of Black Pandora is numbered at 25. It's a parallel edition I go after. I buy a lot of them, and again, finding the product cheaply and obviously as it's basically a bit of a stock market where you want to buy the player before they become great and their stock is down. When they become great, their stock moves up. The other hunt we do a lot and we like to share with our community is finding cards on smaller platforms. So looking for cards on smaller platforms, moving them to a larger platform with more customer base. It's another nice way to buy low and sell high. So we have a lot of good strategic plays for buying, which most people probably don't go as in depth when they're buying. But it's something we like to share with our community and our customers as far as buying from one platform and then moving it to another. Also, it's important to build a community. We attend a lot of the trade shows. So at the trade shows, there's Nationals, which is the big one. There's the Expo in Toronto. There's a Dallas trade show we regularly attend. Arizona trade show. I know Cole puts on that. It's a great show. You meet a lot of other dealers and collectors, but also you build the community of collectors. And if you have as I've always said, if you have a community of people buying gold and you have gold, well, you sell it to them. And obviously, you build that community of buyers, and then it makes the process of buying, selling obviously a lot easier. And you'll build up a community of people that want certain collectors, whether they collect teams, whether they collect players, or whether they collect parallels, or different products. There's many different avenues which people collect, and it's what makes this business so enticing. It's not just a one-trick pony. There's probably 100 different avenues of collecting. And collectors, there's 100 different people collecting in those different areas. So it gives you a wide range of people to buy and sell from. And again, is looking at it, comparing it to the stock market. I find right now with the price of cards, you can buy a $50,000 box of cards, a $20,000 box, a $10,000 box, and you're getting 4 cards. When all this high-end product comes out, it's always sold out. You just can't get it. You can't find it. It just makes a great industry when the product that becomes available and is sold out instantly. It just drives the demand for the business. So G7 Sports, we've collected a lot of groups of other dealers, other vendors, and these partnerships have helped us be able to build a community and help the community find deals. And we like to see people succeed just as much as we are. And there's a massive opportunity here in this field to buy and sell and trade cards like a commodity. So we like to teach people that there is a lot to learn about it, but again, it is a very interesting business when you can buy and sell trading cards as a stock and make money on them. So getting back to the parallels, this is a very good example here of a Trevor Lawrence parallel. So you can look at the base card on the left. It's just a basic Trevor Lawrence rookie card, and it's graded 10. Now this card here, because it's just a regular parallel, where this is a base card that's produced, probably hundreds of thousands of cards of this are made. There isn't really a true number that I know that's to these basic cards, but there's a lot produced. So obviously the price of them is cheap. So generally this card would sell for $120 in the market right now. And another good thing is the fluctuation of this market is basically, especially in football, is week to week. As the player does well, his market changes on a weekly basis. So the NFL is probably one of the more rigid collecting fields where that price and there's a volatility in that market. But if you're sharp enough to be on these players and understand, their processes, you can monetize this very easily. Again, getting back to the parallels, you'll notice both cards are identical. The only difference is the autograph on the one on the right, and it's also called green. So this is referred to the Don Ross Optic autograph green, and you'll notice the other one is just a Don Ross Optic. So two same cards, same pictures, just the one on the right is very limited. So, this card could sell anywhere to around the $16,000 range, and as a PSA 8. So there is a lot of difference between the parallels that collectors can understand, but it's also makes it for a very good market to be able to monetize it. With so many different parallels, with the volatility of players on a weekly basis, it just makes it fun for being able to buy and sell. You might buy this Trevor Lawrence card, say for $120 today. He has a great game next week, and you can almost double your money on the sale of it. So it's a very interesting market as far as a quick buy and sell. And if you get sharp on accumulating of collecting the player when he's up or when he's down, and selling it when he's up, you can monetize that. And especially in the NFL, it's very much a week to week business. So something we enjoy teaching. We do a lot of it. We do very well with it, and it's something as a collector we find it fun. So I mean, you have your collections, as I do, and I'm sure everybody else does, stuff that kind of is my collection. I don't sell it, but 80% of my collection is constantly revolving. I consider it to be a stock, and I try to buy the stock low and sell it when it's high. So some interesting facts which we've seen, which has really kind of pushed the hobby into a bit of a frenzy, so to speak. One of them is the amount of production of very limited cards that have come out in the past probably year and a half. Panini, all the different manufacturers has done a good job. Eye appeal is important. The different parallels important. With COVID and the pandemic, I think it drove a lot of people to be at home and looking for something to do, and collectors are passionate about whatever they collect. They enjoy it. They hunt for it. It doesn't matter whether you're collecting coins or you're collecting cards. If you're collecting anything, you're always looking to upgrade your collection, and obviously, for most people, selling the lower stuff off and collecting some of the higher stuff is always fun as well. So there was such an influx of money that drove into the collector world, as far as all these manufacturers. Like any business, if you manufacture 1,000 items of anything and they're all sold within a week, you're going to continue to manufacture different lines of items similar, to basically find where that when does it stop. And right now, anything that the hobby is kind of put out for sale, it goes very quickly. You don't see a lot of product that's sitting around that's not purchased, especially the high end stuff. So that's a discussion for another time, and all the different levels of product that are out on the market, from the national treasures, down to a smaller scale set of, say, pro set hockey. There's definitely a large variance from the top to the bottom, but the top end stuff is always selling out, and everybody's chasing that $1 million card, so to speak. So to get back again, investors, as far as if you're looking at the memorabilia space as an investment and trying to monetize it, looking to make a few bucks out of it, there's several different opportunities in this space. Again, one of them is the easy, as we call it, breaking boxes, buying packs, breaking them, and then buying and selling the commodity. So whether you're buying silver, gold, or platinum, in this industry, it's very similar. You're just buying the player. So one day the player might be the silver, the next day it could be the gold. But again, it's finding those players in every sport, which have the high upside, which there's a lot to be said for marketability of players. I look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, to me, doesn't seem to be as sought after collectible, versus somebody like a Tom Brady. Obviously, Brady's the GOAT. He's done a lot more in the industry, but the fan base in Green Bay, the fan base in Dallas, the fan base in California, these markets support a lot of collectors. So the more collectors, the more valuable that person's commodity is going to be. So finding the most sought after markets that are hot, the Green Bay Packers, the Dallas Cowboys, the LA Rams, anything in California, there's a big market there, and a lot of collectors. I would say that California kind of leads the way with the most collectors. So generally they like their home sports, their home guys. So if you can focus in on finding the guys that are the most collectible, or as I say, have the most people wanting their items, there's a big market to be able to buy and sell to that community. Again, building a community is important. I've always said that if you have, one guy who collects Patrick Mahomes and you're just selling to him, it's a lot easier to sell to 1,000 people that are collecting Patrick Mahomes than one. Obviously, it feeds the market. It also it creates some competition and gives an opportunity for people to make some money and selling to several different avenues. A big thing we do at G7 Sports, we find the commodity. So whether it's Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Justin Fields is probably a great example of, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, you couldn't give his stuff away. People were, he's obviously a talent that everybody would like to see do well in the hobby if you have his stuff. He didn't do very well for the first few weeks. People were down on him, and then out of nowhere, the last 3 weeks, his stuff is probably tripled. So, something you bought for 50 is now probably 250. Just goes to show you that if you're on to the up and down of the hobby, and the vast amount of product being sold, again, is nice, because you can go on probably 10 or 15 different platforms, and cards are moving every day in mass quantities. So obviously that there's going to be deals to be had. There's just ways to find those deals and ways to stay on buying them. That's something we teach our community. And again, we like to see our people that deal with us on a daily basis. We like to see them succeed as much as we do. It's a big industry. We like helping people. Exactly why we're here today, trying to help people and teach them a little bit about a large market that nobody really talks about. So again, I think we touched on this a little bit earlier. Is the market estimated in the sales right now as we speak is up towards probably 26 billion as far as the buying and the selling. If you look on places like PWCC, it's the post-war collectible cards. These guys do a great job at advertising, putting stuff out to the market. It's something that their last 2 years, I think they've really probably is a leader as far as customer service, looking after people. I know a lot of industries that we've been dealing with, and why we really enjoy working with the MaxSold people. MaxSold probably has the best customer service that you'll see of an auction house. I've dealt with all of them. When you start buying and selling off an auction house, I know it's a busy game. Trying to keep up with everything, and the customer service is important. I know I do a lot on eBay, and eBay's customer service is very tough. So, finding an auction house that, you can talk to people, there's the customer service is good, is also a very important part of finding and buying and selling. That you have to find a partner that, the platform you can trust, and it's easy to work with. The MaxSold people have been great, and we quite enjoy buying and selling on the platform. We'd like to see a lot more collectors use the platform for buying and selling. I know that we're going to work on having some shipping options, which is great. That in-person pickup is also a value add, which we love to see in this community. We're pushing a lot of our people to check out the platform for the buy and sell of cards. When you find a market that's a little bit less populated with buyers and there's product on there, that's a market you want to buy on. So right now we see that the MaxSold platform as a very unique place to buy, that we're getting a lot of product comes on that's priced better than any other platform. So, it's always nice to have that competitive edge when you're buying and selling in any business, taking that product and moving it. And obviously we've built a large community of followers and buyers. So, when we buy stuff, we put it out to our collectors, whether they're, it's a favorite team, whether it's a player, whether it's a parallel, we keep all these people, and it's important to have a database of collectors. And we have so many of them that you want to keep them organized, where, people are like, hey, if you get Saquon Barkley, can you send it to us? We want their Black Diamond parallel. so then we want their draft parallel. So you make all these notes, and when you find the cards, you can move them to the channels. It's almost a bit like being a broker, which is nice that you're brokering an asset from one of your buyers they're looking for. They give you the wish list when you see it. You can buy it and sell it, and as I say, you make the agent's fee for doing that. So it's another business, and definitely a conversation piece that we can talk about in another time slot. But we'll stay focused on the business part right now of the increase of cards. So one thing we were lucky to do, we work with a lot of the teams, so it gives us a bit of an advantage as far as getting some unique and stuff that's sought after by the collector industry. This painting here that you see on the right of Steph Curry, we were invited to Steph and the Golden State Warriors to do a rendering of Steph's rookie card. We did this for his foundation, auctioned it off, and then we get an original for ourselves, and we're allowed to do 30 artist proofs of the original, which is a very unique collectible. Being consigned by the athlete is a very interesting dynamic, which is just starting in the collecting world. It's been a lot of different people are doing it, but we've been lucky to secure a bunch of deals working with the Boston Celtics and Kevin Garnett, Steph Curry. We're doing a big event with the LA Chargers coming up on December the 19th. We're lucky enough to partner with Jackie Robinson and his family. So we do a Jackie Robinson Foundation event every year. And they love the collectible side of the world too. It's something everybody is interested in. And if you're an athlete and involved, I mean, just natural that I know a lot of athletes that are collecting their own cards. So it's kind of neat talking to them and being able to find their cards and sell it to them as well. So they're busy. They don't have the time to do the collecting side of it, which we do. So it's a nice dynamic where we can partner with them. One big thing that we've noticed in the memorabilia space, I mean, I'm sure everybody that's been watching memorabilia saw the Mickey Mantle card that sold for 12.6 million. Any industry, when you see cards selling for that type of value, it just opens up the market, the platform for any player. It's never, cards have never sold for that type of money. I mean, for the last 20 years, as I've grown up being a collector, since I was probably 8 years old, and now I'm 49. So, we're talking 40 years. And there's never been a card sell for $1 million. I think the Wayne Gretzky rookie or the Michael Jordan rookie were the two first cards that went for $1 million. Now you've seen in the last 2 years cards selling for 5.4 million, 6 million, 12 million. So it's you don't get that kind of increase in any business from a small level to that big a level without a massive growing and a massive following for it. So if you have customers that are out there buying $12 million cards, that's a fairly decent market and a opportunity for people to get involved. And it's if you get on different platforms that are running cards on a daily basis, it's every day, all day, and there's hundreds of thousands of movements of the commodity, which even in any trading for regular commodities, I don't think there's anything that would compare to the mass amount of cards that get moved on a daily basis. So it's something that G7 Sports is really focused in on, teaching customers, how to buy and sell and how to trade. Everybody likes to. I mean, I was involved in buying and selling some coins, buying and selling a little bit of silver, gold. Like that market, it's a very slow moving market. This market here is probably one of the fastest markets I've ever seen as far as fluctuation of price. If you're sharp on it, like I said, with football, you have a week to week market that moves. If you pay close attention to that and even watching the teams and production, if a team's going to produce or a player's going to produce. If that happens, that commodity is going to be worth 20% more the following week. So obviously, as a sharp business group, you can take advantage of that and make some money. So it's something, again, that we'll probably get a little bit more in depth with the commodity part of it on a future call. But right now, just the market is booming, and it's something that we highly advise people in this space to get involved in. So we'll touch on it again a little bit about some of the key points when you're buying and selling a commodity. As far as we're going to talk about these players as a commodity. So this is what they are as far as you're buying and selling of them. and their commodity fluctuates as far as the price goes with many different things. So one thing we like to focus on, if you get a quarterback who has had a bad game, and let's say we'll use Trevor Lawrence, for instance. Trevor Lawrence has a bad game. He has big upside. His stuff is priced right. So you want to find the perfect storm with something that's reasonably priced. He has some upside. He has a really bad game, but then the next week his matchup looks really good. We break down those tangibles where we know he's going to have a great opportunity against a weaker team the next week. What that does is, let's say he goes out and throws for 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they win. Last week he was horrible. What happens is, after that bad week, when you go on to buy his stuff, you're going to see the market down. So you'll be able to pick up some of the stuff cheap. And then the next week he goes out and has a great week. Now his stuff is going to increase at least 20 or 30% from the last week. And it's amazing the sheer fluctuation of price. And what we're going to do is, it takes a little bit to break down this theory, but we have a few guys at G7 that are very sharp with this type of analysts. We had a company where we broke down daily fantasy sports. We break down stats. So we have a good group of guys that are all based for the numbers, and the numbers are what basically tells the story in any sports performance. The numbers don't lie. It is what it is. We break this down so we can show that how on a weekly basis, when one player that's highly collectible has a bad week, how quickly people get off him and how his market drops. The very next week he has a great week, how quickly everybody jumps back on the bandwagon and starts supporting him again. And it's a very unique dynamic, which in any commodity-based product, you'll never see this type of movement. So we quite enjoy breaking down these analysis and want to just have a chart that can show this theory to be accurate. Once we have that data behind it, obviously to our group and our collectors, we want to show them basically how you do it, how you make money. And again, I think you'll see other groups of collectors, kind of banding together to do a similar type of buy and sell, where I think we'll be the leaders in that. And we want to show our community and show people how to do that. And it is a very unique way to buy a commodity. But as you'll see on the screen here, there's many different things that cause a player's value to go down, whether it's player performance, team performance, personal life, injury. I think I can use the receiver from the Raiders, Ruggs. He got in a car accident, ended up being charged with vehicular manslaughter, and the collecting world kind of banned of getting rid of his product and not wanting to buy it. So I actually know one collector that everything he buys of his, he burns it. So I mean, it's obviously that market is down for him. So there's different variables that are going to affect the up and down of a player. So again, there's many ways to benefit from this, and I think we'll get into that a little bit more in depth on another call. But with this industry, again, it's all performance based. So collectors, fans, it's literally a week to week in the NFL. NFL is much different than NBA, NHL, MLB. Those are the sports that, you can kind of take a long haul approach to them. It's a little bit more stable. So you're going to see more of a flat line, as I like to see in the graph you'll see here. I would consider the red line to be more MLB, NHL, and NBA. And the green line is definitely NFL, where you'll see peaks and valleys and very sharp movements up and down. So, people ask me, what do I collect? What do I enjoy the most? I'm going to have to say it's the NFL, just because there's that opportunity to get those peaks and valleys, and we teach our people how to monetize that and how to capitalize on this opportunity with the commodity value shifting so up and down quickly. Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, very, very much more stable. It's kind of, as I call it, the year long rookies coming in, doing very well. Some players had a bad year, now they have a good year, so their stock goes up. But NFL is definitely a week to week fluctuation, which makes it more exciting for collectors. Again, here is good examples of some high price cards. If you notice the card on the left, it's a Josh Allen vinyl 1/1. You could have bought this card, probably in his rookie year. If it came out, you might pay 5,000 or 6,000 for it. Generally what something like this would come out in his rookie year. So say 4 years later, 3 years later, this card is 264,000. So you can see how quickly an investment, if you find the right player and you invest in him when he comes out and get some of his stuff early, how quickly that commodity can change. Trey Lance is a good example of somebody who I was big on this year. When he got the starting awarded the starting job with the 49ers, his product skyrocketed from stuff I was buying for 200 or 300. Now you're getting 2,000 or 3,000 for it. And for the first 2 weeks, his stuff was really high. Then he gets injured. He's out 4 to 6 months, and the card value of everything he has dropped. So this is good for guys like me. I'll still buy his stuff. I still think he has a lot of upside. There's a lot of potential there, but now you can get his stuff again cheaply. The good thing is from the beginning, when you invest in him early, get his stuff cheap, you have to sell it when he's up. So we moved a lot of his product right off the bat. So probably 60% of our Trey Lance stuff we moved in the first 2 weeks, made some good money on it. And then when he got injured, now we're buying again, reinvesting in the stock. So there's some really good opportunities to take advantage in NFL. So talking a little bit of where you go to look at some of these shows that carry all the cards, the dealers, talk to people. There's pretty much a show every weekend somewhere. Big shows are the National, the Card Expo was just last weekend. There's the Dallas Card Show, Las Vegas Card Show, and Arizona Card Show. We attend pretty much a card show a month. I go to a lot of all the small card shows. To give an example of how the community is growing, there's a card show in Belleville, Ontario, November 25th. I think it's 20, 30 tables, but it's nice to see the small shows starting to come out in the local towns and communities. So I think everybody, if they look around their area, they can definitely find somewhere to go, and obviously the online community is massive, so there's always an online opportunity, but it is nice to go to some of these shows and meet people and have a face-to-face. And I think that's why they hold all these shows and do them like this. And I would consider MaxSold to be very much like the card show entity that most collectors want to go and meet people, talk to them. MaxSold offers that from an auction platform, and they are the only company that I've seen right now in this industry that we've dealt with that actually offers that, in-person pickup after the auction. And I think collectors are really going to like that experience. Was that it, Stacy?
Okay. Shane, any more slides, or are you ready for questions?
I think that's good for now,
That's
Heather.
good.
I think we can handle some questions now for sure.
Okay, we have a few questions. The first one is, are the higher valued cards randomly found in packs? Is the regular card shown in the example today versus the green card? Would the green card be the one found in a pack?
Yeah, so to answer that question, every card is pretty much found in the pack. There is some uncirculated cards that they give out. Like if you go to Nationals, Panini has a big presence at National. Panini's probably the top in manufacturing of sports cards. So they will give out, where they call them uncirculated, where you go to these shows and they'll give you a card. It's probably about a 2% of the market is of those cards. Most cards are just bought from boxes. So as we call it, you buy the box, or you buy a pack and you rip the cards, and every box has the potential of getting these high cards in it. Yes.
Okay, well, great. How do we know if an autograph is authentic? Who do you suggest somebody uses for grading? Do you have favorite resources?
We do. So we like to use PWCC, just their knowledge of the whole industry. And they usually recommend, different grading companies like PSA and Beckett. You send your stuff away to PSA and Beckett, and they authenticate everything. So at the card shows, like we were just at the Toronto Card Show, there was probably about 6 to 7 grading companies that were set up there, where you could literally walk in the door, give them your cards, and they'll grade them right there on the spot. So you don't have to send them away. So that's a very nice, something collectors like. I like to say it's the MaxSold version of grading cards. You don't have to send your stuff. There's no shipping involved. It's very personal, and people like that. You like to talk to the people that are grading your cards. You actually talk to some of the graders. So it's a very neat experience. I always advise people to, find a show when you want to get your cards graded first. Take them to a show, give them to the grading companies in person. And it's something, if we get contacts, they can reach out to G7. We offer and facilitate that for people that they want to get their cards graded. We'll get them graded for them. It is a bit of a daunting task, and if you've never done it before, and I notice a lot of collectors that have never done it, the first thing they say is, it's, wow, I got to fill out these forms, I got to contact someone, I got to ship them, am I going to get them back? So we take all the fear out of that and just, give them to us. We'll guarantee that your cards are going to be sent away and graded, and if anything ever happens, they're highly insured. So.
Okay. And Daryl was asking how to find out the approximate value. That goes along with the grading, right? That's hand in hand.
It does. So the value of the card is literally, as I've said, the card is worth what somebody will pay for it. And it's kind of market based, where you put it on a platform. So let's use an example of, I know MaxSold has been getting into the sales of cards. I've seen a lot of cards on the platform, but let's say compared to eBay has a very large vast of products. So right now, if you put the same card on one platform versus another, obviously it's going to be based on sheer volume of buyers. So the more people looking at that card to buy it, is going to be a higher price. So it's set by the collectors, that are buying the cards on the platforms. But if you have collectors like we do, so for instance, we have a collector that anything Patrick Mahomes based, Kyler Murray, our good friend Brian Ludke, he has these cards. He will buy them. So you might get a collector that'll pay a bit more for it because they're collecting the cards. So it's also based on demand.
Okay, so one of our Facebook Live viewers has said, how do I go about sorting large collections? I'm new to this. I have a huge collection.
So one thing we've really seen with a lot of customers that reach out to us is, because it's such a boom in the last probably 3 or 4 years, there's a real lull. And what happened, the industry was kind of getting to a dying point in the last, say, 5 or 6 years, excuse me, that these manufacturers overproduced cards. So they just made so many of them, and there was no parallel. So what it was, they just produced the same card a million times, and there was no value to it. When people would get cards and open them up, they'd be like, oh, I got an Eric Lindros rookie, this card's gonna be worth a lot. Meanwhile, there was 10 billion of them made. So there's no value to it. So what the card companies did, they changed their methodology on this, and they started making different sets with parallels and lower counts of rookies. So you never saw that before in the industry. And what that's done now is the newer stuff is worth a lot more in the parallels. Some of the old stuff from like the 90s to 2017, 18 has been mass produced. So getting your collection, like, somebody like us, we do evaluations of collections. We can tell you right away, whether, hey, you got a lot there, or whether you've just got as we call it, a lot of bike spoke cards that everybody used to throw them on their bike spokes back in the day.
So is it really mainly cards that are signed that hold the most value? Or is it?
Signed cards do offer a big value to cards, but it is natural rookies. Like, let's use the analogy, a Wayne Gretzky rookie card. A Wayne Gretzky rookie card graded is worth more unsigned than signed. So if you have a signed Gretzky rookie card and you grade it, and you have a regular Gretzky rookie card that's not graded, the unsigned one is going to be worth more money, because you've taken away, the collectors want that original rookie. They don't want it signed. Now, in the new era of cards that are coming out now, the theory is, yes, an autographed rookie card that comes out genuine now is worth more than an unsigned rookie.
Okay. Tara has asked if you can re-explain the parallels again. When you buy the box, you don't know what is inside.
You don't. So I think that's a whole discussion for another time as well, because it's such a large, vast entity right now in the collecting world, what they've done with parallels. And I just heard something crazy the other day that One of the quarterbacks that's new has 120 rookie cards that are all basically similar, right? So, I mean, back in the collector day, it used to be one. Now they've made all these parallels. Like they'll do a run of the same card to 5. There'll be a 1-1. There'll be 1-5, 1-10, 1-20, 1-50, 1-100. So it's all the same card, but just you'll get, it'll be either pink or purple or black parallel. And then on the back of the card, it'll be numbered 1 of 1, 1 of 10, 2 of 10, 5 of 10. So those cards have become the most sought after and are worth the most money. So let's say, for an example, you bought a box of cards, you opened a pack, and it's Josh Allen's rookie year. You got a black 1 of 1 Josh Allen rookie. That card, you grade it, could be worth $1 million. So it's like a lottery. When you're buying packs, you get a chance to pull one. If you pull one of those big cards, you could buy a pack for $20 and pull a $100,000 card in it, type of thing.
How do you protect your collections? What's the best way to store them?
So we put ours in locked vaults, so fireproof vaults. Again, there's some companies out there that we have worked with that we do what's called, just because the world has got so big for value and cards. People sometimes, like even for me, I've got, I would have $1 million collection, so to speak, and you don't want to leave that in your basement, right, or sitting at your shop, type of thing. So there's card companies and people that we've partnered with. One of the biggest and most reliable who we use is PWCC. They actually have a vault. So what they do is you send in your collection to them, they'll put it in a vault and they hold it. And if you ever want to sell some of your cards, you can put them out and sell them. If not, you keep them in the vault so they're protected. A lot of people have been using that system. Again, like I could see down the road, there'd be a good opportunity for what's called the MaxSold vault. And, that they get sent in there and it's a vault they're put in and locked behind a key, so to speak. And when people either want to get rid of them or sell them, they start moving them. But insuring them is important. That if you have a big collection, you should insure it.
All right. And how can we go about getting your firm to help with valuations? What would the process be?
So all you have to do is reach out to us via Facebook or obviously we do a lot of selling on the MaxSold platform. So you know what, they can come on and buy, and when they buy, they come out and meet us, and definitely a discussion on how we can help them. We can come to their place to evaluate. We go in-house to do evaluations of collections all the time. So something we're very knowledgeable about. And if you're within driving distance, of the area, then we can definitely do that. We have had some people take pictures and just email them to us. I can tell pretty quickly just the era of your collection, whether it's worth, X or Y.
Okay, great. Maybe Stacy, you could put the info in the chat for contact if somebody needs to call you guys or email you guys, or I don't know if you have a contact page in your slide to share. We have another question about where to buy packs. Where's the best?
So some of the best places that I use is Dave and Adam's Card World is a great place. I buy a lot from them. There's some local shops in the Toronto area, so I always like to support local as well. What we do with our customers, anybody getting new to the hobby that wants to get involved, we basically walk them through that, the starting point of, what dealers to go deal with, who's reliable. We've been doing this for, 25 years type of thing. So we know that there are certain people that you don't want to buy from that, online, that, stuff hasn't came in. And obviously with feedback and reviews, that's easy to see. But we have a very trusted group of people. So we do like to do local card shops. Sometimes it's not the best deal buying packs there, but we still do like to support local card shops. And some of the bigger people like Dave and Adam's Card World, they're out of Buffalo. I have a warehouse down there, so good people. The product is good, priced right, and they have high end stuff too. If you're looking to buy, any kind of level, so to speak.
Okay, John is asking. He says, "I'm in Ottawa. Where do I get autographed NHL hockey programs from 1969, 1970 appraised, and where is the best place to sell them? Thanks."
Mm-hmm. So the best place to sell them is on MaxSold, of course. But no, Definitely stuff like that. We can get it evaluated at the PWCC. They have a good group that pushes stuff into PSA, Beckett. There is some different arms in the Beckett industry. Beckett's probably one of the most reliable grading companies, and anything graded by them holds the value. So I tend to not buy anything unless it's graded by Beckett, PSA, or I see it signed with my own two eyes, so to speak. I saw some crazy number that said that 85% of non-authenticated product on eBay is fake. So again, this is the one thing I like about some of these platforms that are not letting people put stuff on unless it's properly authenticated or an expert's looked at it. I just know that in the industry, there's a lot of personal autographs, and I say it's not fair to take away from the people that spend the time going to get stuff personally autographed, because it is a very unique and hard thing to do. But all the players sign stuff. You go to the games, you know some people, they love to sign stuff. Athletes love to sign stuff, even when they have agreements with companies. They love to personally sign stuff. I mean, at the expo in Toronto, there was 36 different athletes there, and people were lined up for hours to get personally inscribed autographs. That stuff's not authenticated by anybody. It's just the collector working hard to go and find where the athletes are and getting signings done. So there is some things that need to be done in the industry to get the authentication process a little better. I think they're working towards that. But right now, Beckett is definitely the proper people, and PWCC as well. But this is, again, something, if we can facilitate for people as well, we look after that process. Because for new people that don't know, it can be cumbersome, and we don't want them going down the wrong channel. That's all.
Okay, and finally, there's a question about the fraud market. What should we look out for? What does that look like? Any tips around?
That's a very easy process. Just when you're buying, if it's not authenticated by a reputable company, so Beckett, PWCC, PSA, I always just ask the buyer, if I'm buying something, hey, I'll buy that from you. Will you send it to get it authenticated, and I'll pay for it? A very simple question, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to say no. So if you get that answer, obviously move on to the next. But I will, if you're buying something that is personally signed, and a lot of people do get personally signed stuff, if they send it away to get it authenticated, and you commit a deal, hey, I'll pay for it. It's probably $50, but well worth paying for that if they don't want to. If they say no to that, then I just move on to something else.
All right. Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Shane, for being here today. Oh, one more question just came in. What happens to the value of the card after the end of the athlete's career?
So it's kind of a 50-50 result. I've seen, if a player retires or he has a record of some sort, the value of that product usually goes up quite a bit. I've seen other instances where it's just that process of, what have you done for me lately? Certain athletes, like I would say, your Matt Sundins, guys who have had good careers, but when they're done playing, it's kind of, people forget about them and they move on to the next. So I think there's a very unique market for when people retire. The best time to sell is the day they retire. So I've always said that, you in this collecting world, as far as buying and selling, you can't get too attached to anything, and you always want to sell when the market's high. So there's probably 5 different applications when the market is high, and those are things that we teach buyers and sellers, and that's when you got to liquidate. So me personally, if somebody retires and I have the stuff, I'm going to get rid of it that day.
All right. Well, I have in the chat here, for folks that have attended via Zoom, a email that you can reach out to Shane at if you have further questions or you need to enlist his services. I also put my email in here if you would like a recording of this webinar. It will also be available on Facebook, on MaxSold's Facebook page, probably within the day. And once again, thank you so much, Shane and Stacy, for joining us from Weather Hands. I really appreciate your time today. And everybody else, thanks for attending.
Thanks, Heather. Appreciate it.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.